And hello again, everybody. Welcome to Warriors Walk-Off here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us today. We'll start today talking Warriors softball. Head coach Greg Jones joins us first. And another successful week in Warriors softball, picking up some wins and more shutouts now. 9 shutouts in the last 10 games, which is just incredible. Team ERA right now is at 1.20, which I think if that continues, that would be the best team ERA that you've had since you've been the head coach here at Winona State. I know that that's mainly Cindy's job, but from your perspective, the pitching staff, it's just been incredible. Can you put into words how you see the pitching staff this season?
Well, I can't. There's almost no words for it at this point. Yesterday, reading the article about our wins over the weekend, I think each pitcher threw their 11th shutout.
Yeah.
Well, that's 22 between them, and we've never seen anything like it. To have both pitchers doing what they're doing, shutouts aren't easy. I think case in point, when we beat Northern on the second game on the first day of the weekend, we won 3-1, and they got a leadoff walk. They bunted the kid to second. They bunted her to third, got a 2-out base hit, and scored the run. The fact that that isn't happening more often, that they're just team scoring a run. You know, you get a leadoff walk, a bunt, and a base hit. Get them on, get them over, get them in. We like that it's complicated, but it's amazing that it's become that easy for us to throw shutouts. And I've gone 17 years and not seen anything like it. I think I'll go 17 more, and probably not, unless hopefully over the next couple of years that trend continues.
Well, we'll kind of add to that. In the last 10 games, you've had 1 run allowed. Last 22 games, 13 runs allowed. Over the course of the season, 71 runs allowed in 55 games, which is really just incredible. I know that one of the questions Ty Schwartzler, our director, wanted me to ask you was, with how dominant the pitching has been, is there any concern that maybe the players in the field aren't getting enough game reps on ground balls, fly balls, that sort of thing?
No, where I worry about it is our offense. Defensively, because of the way we're playing, we have 2 different types of pitchers. McKenna is a pitch-to-contact kid, so we end up playing a lot of defense behind her. Her strikeout numbers have been climbing here a little bit lately, where Joe is more of a strikeout kid, but even being a strikeout kid, 10 a game is a lot. But it's still a lot of plays we've got to make behind her defensively. What they do is allow our defense to make easier plays. We don't have to field rockets at us. We're fielding ground balls in rhythm. We're fielding pop-ups. Maybe situationally there's something to be concerned about there. We haven't had to play a lot of situational defense. We're just making routine plays. Where I've been concerned about it, I guess, a little bit is offensively, that we're allowing our pitching and our defense to win for us, and that there isn't as much, how do we respond now when there's the pressure to have to score if we're in a 0-0 game? And again, what we've tried to get across to our team is we want you to feel like if it's 0-0 in the 7th inning, that's where we're supposed to be. Don't panic, don't press, don't stress. The other day against Northern, we went 0-0 into the 8th, carrying a no-hitter into the 8th. Right. Let's not concern ourselves with what we haven't done. Let's just continue to do what we are doing, and eventually we'll find a way to scratch that run.
Well, that was McKenna Larson that got the extra inning no-hitter in that game that you're talking about. So when it does get into that situation, I mean, what are some of the things that maybe you do as a coach, some of the plays that you put on, whether or not to take any pitches, whether, first and third situation, whatever it is. What are some of the things that go through your mind in a 0-0 game? Yeah,
you try to create a little bit more. One of the issues that I think we have offensively is we don't hit for a lot of power and we don't have a lot of team speed. It takes a lot of base hits to score runs that way, and that's kind of where we keep getting caught up as we get base runners. And you get 2 or 3 hits an inning, and that's great. Nobody gets many more than that. Well, sometimes it takes for us a 4th and a 5th hit now to put up that crooked number and to get the runs across. So we've tried to create. The other day against Northern, we had a great situation where first 2 kids up bunted for base hits. Shay and Jamie bunted for base hits. And I had fully intended to bunt 4 consecutive times. And we got the bunt down. Paige got the bunt down. They ended up throwing our runner out at third base. But Sam was due up next, and I was going to run the squeeze play with her. I fully intended to bunt 4 consecutive times to try to create a run that way, because if we just weren't, it was like McKenna pitching against McKenna. They had a left-hander too that was just junking us to death, and we couldn't square her up. So you do try to find different ways to try to score and manipulate the offense if you can.
That just makes me smile, because I think I've always said bunting is a lost art, and
Yes.
so in order to manufacture runs like that with bunting, I think is really great. Let's move on. You talked about the power. Mariah Schultz leads you in home runs with 7 this season, but of course she has that other statistic that we've been following, which is hit by pitches. She's up to 25 this season. That gives her 33 for her career, so she's just one off of tying the school record in 2 seasons, which is just incredible. Again, what are some of the things, I don't know if we've ever really covered this, what are some of the things that she's doing at the plate in order to get hit? Is she crowding the plate? What is it?
Yeah, I think she's on the plate and she dives into the ball a lot. This weekend she finally got plunked here late in the weekend, and again, it seems kind of weird when she doesn't get hit. But she's on the plate. She tends to dive into it. But I throw a lot of BP to our kids, and I've never hit Mariah, and so I'm not quite sure. It's not that blatant. She's not. We've had left-handers over the years. Jenny Nelson was one of them. Molly Bielan was another one. That really hung over the plate. That when you stand out there on the mound and look, their hands are hanging over the inside third of the plate. And Mariah really isn't that, but she's a big, strong kid with presence in the box, and you'd almost think people would want to work away from her more, and they seem to want to challenge her inside. And Mariah's biggest gift is she's willing to take it and just walk to first base.
Right. Very good. Last couple minutes of this segment. Regular season is now over, so the playoffs are coming up. You still don't know who you're going to play, and you won't know until the day of the tournament. The way that it's set up, you might play one of 4 different teams. What does that do to your preparation as you head into this week, knowing that it could be one of 4 teams that you've played this season?
From a team, from trying to prepare our kids, it doesn't really do anything. We've always been a program that's been about us. Let's get ourselves ready. Everybody's got slappers and speed. Everybody's going to throw change-ups to you. We've got to be prepared to handle any pitching, especially in the tournament anyway, where one game just morphs into the next. So it's never really necessarily about really preparing for any one thing that we see, and we've seen all these teams anyway. So preparing the kids isn't a challenge. I think the challenge is, for me personally, trying to be prepared for the pitch calling on how we want to attack hitters and what our charts are telling us. And you don't get that night before to really kind of lock into a team where and there's no way to really prepare for all 4 of them. So you just kind of have an idea and you ballpark it. We just bring all the charts and all the graphs with us and hope that we can do the best we can in the moment.
Well, I know that you said you like to cram and get a lot of information in your head the night before. So how much does that throw you off your game at all?
It does. I don't like it. It's probably my least favorite weekend of the year that way. And again, because especially having the bye is great for our kids, but it's harder for me for my preparation. It does throw me off a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll probably try to memorize 4 teams, because it's just where I'm comfortable, getting, and that way I feel like there I've got it. Yet I'll use more paperwork on game day than I ever do. And there's a stubborn part of me that doesn't want to use what I've studied. Like, no, I have to have this. I have to know this. And so I don't bring a lot of stuff to the games and have it all in front of me, where now in the conference tournament I will have more of that information at my fingertips.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk-Off, and when we come back, Samantha McLean will join us right after this.
I'm Brian Robinson, and I'm teaming up with HBC for the Real Men Foundation in Wabasha, May 12th through the 14th, benefiting Canines for Cops. Friday is auction night at Slippery's, where you can bid to fish on Saturday with pro fishermen from the FLW Tour, as well as current and former Vikings players. Saturday and Sunday has a kids fishing pond along with other activities, and of course our open tournament on Sunday. Please visit BrianRobinson96.com for more information, and I will see you in Wabasha.
I play because this is my destiny.
Finish to this match. What a shot!
And welcome back to Warriors Walk-Off here on HBC TV 25. Time now to talk to the players at Winona State. Samantha McLean joins us. Thank you for joining us here today. Now, one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on, obviously, is you're a left-handed second baseman. You've played a lot of different infield positions and outfield positions. I understand that goes all the way back to grade school, and you even played baseball, I believe, before you played softball. So tell me about that, about playing as a left-hander in the infield.
It's definitely a difficulty. I've loved the infield since I was younger, and I played shortstop all throughout high school and when I played baseball when I was younger. So I think the biggest thing for me was always to work on my feet, that I wanted to be just as fast as everybody else so that nobody could make any excuses for why I couldn't be in the infield.
Okay, and I understand that when you were making your college selection, you didn't know, first you committed to Loras and then decided to come here to Winona State. And Coach Jones, you didn't know where he was going to put you. How difficult was that coming into a situation where you didn't know if you were going to play the infield, the outfield, where you were going to play?
I think I heard enough about Coach Jones to know that I probably wasn't going to be playing in the infield. And so I switched my primary position coming into college to the outfield, just because most coaches would never put a lefty in regardless of the skill level.
All right. Now, Coach Jones, I know that we talked about her last week, and the fact that you know, someone mentioned to you, oh, she can play the infield, and then you decided, oh, let's try that. So, what was your grand plan for Samantha when she came into college?
I think my grand plan, just like she said, was to play her in the outfield. It was, okay, we'll look at her on the infield, but we also had it. You know, take the left-handed, right-handed out of it. We had a greater need in the outfield than we had in the infield at the time. And you know, we knew Laney was coming down the pike. We had Lexi here. We had good quality infielders. You know, when she came and was playing it as a freshman, we could see right away that she was really good at it. Yet at the same time, it was still, where do we need her and where is she going to help us? And she was a good outfielder. This fall, it really kind of just happened. We had a huge hole at second base. Sam has done an amazing job solidifying our defense. And it just, you know, we kind of tinkered with her at short, and all of a sudden it said, hey, why didn't Sam try second? We brought her in, and I don't know if she liked it or didn't like it right away, but it was never a real thought out thing. It was more of a, we've got a hole here. She's played here. How about here? And now it's just really worked.
All right. Well, your thought on that. How did you like it when you were put back into the infield?
I did not like it at all. Once I went out into the outfield and I realized how calm of an environment it was and how much less of a thought process that I needed when I was playing, I really found it more comfortable. And when I was brought back into the infield, it was really hard, especially being at a new position I've never played before. The roles were completely reversed on where I go and what I do. So it was really hard for me to figure out, and it was a struggle in the beginning, and I was really frustrated almost all the time at practice. But we got through it. So.
I want to ask you about turning double plays. How long did it take you at first to be able to make the spin that you make in order to set yourself to throw over to first base? And how long did it take you to figure that back out again when you got back into the infield?
Well, when I played shortstop, I never did the spin. I just kind of came through, and if they slid into me, they slid into me. It was just kind of what I had to deal with there. But doing the spin it took a little while. It definitely took a little while. I didn't get it at first, and I was making a lot of bad throws. And I also tried the whole coming around the base entirely, but that was kind of hard on my back, so I try not to do that one as often as the spin. Now,
I understood that in your later years in high school, preparing for college baseball, you had a coach that played at Winona State, Caitlin Hardy.
Yes.
Did that kind of influence your decision to come here to Winona State?
It did, a lot. And both my high school coaches were really close with Coach Jones, so that helped with just getting it brought into my life. So. Okay.
And then one other coach that you had was your hitting coach in high school who had played minor league baseball, was in the Baltimore Orioles organization. You said that he helped you out a lot in getting your stance ready.
Oh, yes, he did, a lot. Very much.
How much did he have to fix?
A lot. I was a mess. I think it was around my sophomore year of high school when I went to go see him, and that's when everything started to change. I think I was mediocre at best before I saw him.
And how hard is it to adapt a baseball coach to tell a softball player how to hit?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. He doesn't only do baseball. He does both, and he's been a hitting coach for softball just as long as he's been for baseball, so I wasn't worried on that aspect.
All right, well, very good. Well, thank you for joining us here today, and good luck into the playoffs.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk Off, and when we come back, we'll talk Warrior Baseball. That's right after this.
Ever wish you could just swing by the local office to pay your bill quickly rather than calling a toll-free number and speaking to a machine? When you join the HBC family, you get that and so much more with local office locations and customer care. Whether you have general questions or would like to upgrade your services, HBC is here here in your community, providing an unrivaled personalized experience. Switching is easy and installation is free. And we're so sure you'll love HBC, we offer a 30-day guarantee. Visit hbci.com to learn more or call 888-474-9995 to experience the HBC difference.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
And welcome back to Warriors Walk-Off here on HBC TV 25. Time now to shift gears and talk baseball. Head coach Kyle Polk joins us now. And Coach Polk, I want to talk about you to begin with because you reached a milestone this week, 400th win. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
You're in your 15th season here at Winona State. And really since 1967, it's you and it's Gary Grobb that have been the faces of Winona State baseball, except for the 1 year that he was on a sabbatical. Yeah. But I want to go backward and talk about when you took over the program. You were an assistant coach with Gary Grobb for quite a while before you took over the program. What were your thoughts initially when you took over this program?
Well, it was a goal of mine. You know, when I grew up, I wanted to be a basketball coach. Really, my dad was a basketball coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach in Wisconsin, high school basketball. So, but after I graduated from here, you know, I played for Coach Grobb. I was doing more with baseball, and I still coached some high school basketball and stuff, but I was doing more baseball, summer baseball, amateur baseball, Little League, T-ball, American Legion, everything. And I just, you know, baseball is where I want to be. So I kept in touch with Coach Grobb. Coached at UW-Stevens Point for 4 years as an assistant there in their program while I was teaching in the area. It wasn't a full-time thing, but helped out with their program. And just stayed in touch with Coach Grobb and said, hey, I'm really looking, I think I want to be a college baseball coach. And so worked out in '95 where he said, hey, why don't you come back and look to see what we can do. As a grad student, I was a grad assistant and then was able to stay. I was there for 2 years in that position. And then the funny thing is I got the position full-time at Winona State because of women's basketball.
Right.
Because I was a women's they lost a women's basketball assistant coach. The people administration knew my background coaching basketball as well. Said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, yeah, I'd love to, but as long as I can keep the assistant baseball job too. So I was assistant baseball, assistant basketball, and teaching 50% load of health classes. So at that time, so when I got the opportunity when Gary was going to retire, you know, I put my name in and then interviewed for it. And when I got that job, then I just I gave up the basketball, which sometimes I miss that. And you can ask some coaches that I like to hang out in the gym and watch them practice and stuff. But baseball is what I wanted to do from probably 1 or 2 years out of college. I realized, hey, this is the baseball route is the way I want to go.
Yeah, well, I know we've seen you in McCowan during Warrior games all the time and see you there. And I kind of want to back up a little bit since you brought it up, but when you played at Winona State, you played both basketball and baseball. And I think you led the basketball team in scoring junior year or senior year?
Senior year, yeah. 6-foot white guy leading the team in scoring, so that tells you what kind of team we maybe had. But I love playing basketball. I grew up, like I said, my dad was a coach, and you know that was the thing. But it was back in the day when you played, you know, and I played football, basketball, and baseball until I was a sophomore in high school. And after my sophomore year, I just zeroed in on basketball and baseball. I wasn't really big enough to be. We were a wishbone team, and I was a quarterback, and I took too much pounding as a quarterback, so I gave that up and we just worked on basketball and baseball.
All right, now as you said, you were an assistant women's basketball coach, and I was looking up some highlights of Nicole Reisner when it was announced that she was going to be in the Hall of Fame this year, and you were an assistant when she was on the team. Do you have any memories of coaching her or coaching during that time?
Yeah, she was probably the best pure athlete we had. Well, we had the Gilbert girl from the University of Minnesota came down and coached Ballard's first years, but Nicole, athletic-wise, bar none, she's the most athletic girl we've had at Winona State. And I might be biased, but because I coached her, but she could run the floor, jump. Defensively, she's as good as defender we've ever had here. Just really all-around good basketball player, not baseball, good basketball player. Knew the game, came from a successful program in Wisconsin. So I was happy to see that she got in.
And of course, also in the class this year is Ben Barone from baseball. So you had a hand in a couple of those.
Yeah, a couple of my players. Yeah, I was kind of happy when that happened, and actually I was the one they asked if I would call them both and let them know. And Nicole Reisner, I was giving her, you know, that I just said, hey, what are you doing? Like, I think it's late September. She goes, well, I don't know why. What do you got? And I said, well, you got to have a weekend open. She thought I was getting married. I said, there's no way I'm not getting married. So, but we got a Hall of Fame thing for you. And she goes, oh, shut up. We're kidding and stuff. So Ben, I think Ben kind of had an idea because time was up. And, you know, he's probably the best hitter we've had here. He was only here for 2 years, and he's all-time home run leader, hit 43 in 2 years. Was the Division II Player of the Year in 2007, led the nation in home runs, slugging percentage, all that stuff. So I think that's probably a no-brainer. So, but I was fortunate. I was the one who got to call them both.
All right, and let's talk a little bit about the games that happened this week then. Kind of your overall thoughts about what happened this week in Warrior Baseball.
Well, we played well the first game. Mitch Stahlsberg, you know, he pitched another gem for us. So one hitter, struck out, I think 9 or whatever, and pitched good enough to keep us in the game. We scored runs. We finally, you know, we've been really working hard offensively on 2-strike approach, scoring runners with 2 outs, making sure that we get guys on scoring position. We got to put the bat on the ball, and we did a great job in the first game. The next 3 games, we just kind of reverted back. We pitched. We didn't minimize innings. Instead of giving up only 1 or 2, maybe we gave up 3s and 4s and stuff, which you can't do that, which hurt us in those games. And it puts us behind the 8 ball offensively. When we can't do some things we want to do, we have to just basically try to go base to base and try to get on and stuff. So it was a little bit of a disappointing end after, because we had a great start of the weekend with Mitch's game.
Let's kind of get into your mind a little bit. When you see your team kind of regress to what they were doing before, after a great game like that, what are some of the things as a coaching staff, or as you as the head coach, can kind of do to maybe try to turn that around? Or what are some of the things you're thinking when that happens?
Well, one thing we're trying to, you know, I'm trying to talk to the guys before at bats, you know, here's what you're going to do, this and that. But this last weekend I thought, well, I've been doing that all year and we struggle. So this weekend I did less of that. We did do, in the last game finally, we were facing a guy that just spun it up there a lot, and we were giving take sign until they had 1 strike. Because we were swinging a lot of pitches and getting ourselves out. That was the biggest thing. Sometimes we get in our own way, and we were doing that quite a bit. So we decided, hey, let's give take signs until they have a strike, and then work to get a good pitch in that at bat and see what you can do with it. Take nothing away. The guys from Northern State, they did a great job pitching. The one guy that first game on Sunday, he was really good. He pitched probably as well as anybody's pitched against us this year. Did a great job. He's probably mid-80s guy with a good slider and good command and stuff. So he was legit. The other guys, you know, we've seen guys like that all year long. So it was kind of disappointing that we didn't do a little bit better job against them.
All right, last minute of this segment, Concordia is coming up this weekend, and you're kind of on the outside looking in as far as the NSIC tournament, but you win some games here. I think you're still a possibility to get into the tournament. Correct?
Yes, some people told. I haven't looked at it. Yeah. I told the guys when we got back, I'm not even worried about that. I just want to make sure that we get. We had off yesterday, which was good because it rained all day long. Yeah. Imagine that.
Right.
We get to practice and it rains, and but we got today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Prepare. Our number one main concern is to get ready for Game 1 against Concordia, and then see what happens. And I know there's a whole bunch of teams in the mix, and if we win some games, we still need some help from some other things too. So, but we got a chance. But right now, I just want to focus on Game 1 against Concordia, and then we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. We're going to take a break here on Warriors Walk Off, and when we come back, we'll get the player perspective as Jesus Cazares joins us right after this.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
Welcome back to Warriors Walk Off here on TV 25. Jesus Cazares joins us, and it's always interesting to find out what we find out right before we go on the air here. Listed from Appleton, Wisconsin, went to Appleton North, but you're not originally from Wisconsin. Just found out you're from California and an Angels fan.
Correct, yep. I am from California. I'll explain it here. For high school, I got a boarding school scholarship. It's called through A Better Chance, which is a nonprofit program that helps minority students go to a better education system and then have a better chance at college. So I did that, was at Appleton for 4 years, graduated, and Coach Polk recruited me to come play baseball here. So.
All right, and where in California are you from?
I'm originally from Santa Ana, California. It's in Orange County, and it's Southern California.
All right, very good. Let's talk a little bit about your decision then to come to Winona State. What was it that brought you here, and how did you finally decide to be a Warrior?
Well, when I was looking at schools, I'd say there's another story to that too.
Yeah, we got a good.
I was looking at schools. I just made sure they had what I was looking to study. I wanted to play baseball, and the location of Winona is just beautiful. I love the city and love the landscapes around here. So
the other part of the story is, I seen him in showcases, saw him play, but I think, hey, he's originally from California. He's probably going to go back to California. So we did some time with him, but we didn't pursue it that way because I'm not going to tell a kid, hey, don't go back home. Right. I'm sitting in my office one day, and all of a sudden he knocks on, hey, Coach, how's it going? I go, what are you doing here? And he was here with a friend visiting St. Mary's. He came visited us, walked around campus, visited, whatever, and at the end of the day, he goes, Coach, I want to come here. I said, well, that's easy. We'll do it.
Easiest recruiting you've ever had.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of. So.
All right, I want to ask you about, you redshirted your first year, and then your first collegiate baseball experience is going to Houston and playing at Minute Maid Park. I got a couple angles on that, but first, your thought of your first college baseball game is in a pro baseball stadium. What was that like?
it was nerve-wracking. I'm pretty sure I struck out the first 3 times, 2 times. I was nervous, you know, first college at-bats at a pro field. It's completely different. It shouldn't be different, it's baseball, but, you know, it got to me, and it was a great experience. I love playing it in Houston, and I love playing with the guys that were there, too, so.
Now, one of the things that you did that I found out was that you kind of documented the whole process of leaving Winona, going to Houston, going through the locker rooms and everything, and then getting on the field at Minute Maid Park because you're a photographer, maybe aspiring filmmaker. You put this online on YouTube, and it was a really interesting video because you had a GoPro on your hat, and you even put that into the batting cage and took some swings, and we got to see from your perspective what everything looked like. What was your inspiration to do that?
You know, I love photography. I have 2 GoPros, and sometimes I just like taking them on road trips just to like capture what we see as student athletes, or like we go to Florida and I just take it to the beach or use it in the pool. But I don't know, I'd say I love photography. Actually, after this, I have to go take some pictures of a friend and her dog. So I don't know, it's just how I consider is just to make memories or just to have them, you know. I guess that's it.
All right, you're listed as a marketing major, minor in international business. So is photography going to kind of factor into that? Is that something you want to do once you graduate?
Sorta. I wish it kind of worked like that, but I double majored in marketing and Spanish. I have a job lined up with East Bay in Wausau, Wisconsin, doing their digital marketing stuff. So I think with East Bay, I'll be using photography kind of just a little bit, not too much, but I'd say my focus is more in marketing, and if I can use my Spanish speaking abilities, then that'd be awesome. So.
All right. One of the things that we've been kind of talking about all season is that you and Joe Kubera seem to be the kind of spark plugs in the Warrior offense. You're hitting just a shade under 300 this year. How have things gone for you this season?
I'd say previous seasons have been better, but sometimes I get in my head and just my head gets to me, and you got to do this, do that, but you just got to relax, and you know that it all comes naturally. You've been playing the game forever, and you can't press, otherwise nothing will come at you. So.
All right, kind of follow up on that question as we talked with Coach. Last games coming up this weekend in the regular season. How do you kind of ignore the fact that these are kind of must-win games to get to the tournament and just kind of focus on the games themselves?
Well, I always tell the guys, just have fun. You know, it's baseball. Like I said, you've been playing ever since you were little, and it's a great sport, and just gotta love it, enjoy it. Especially in college, like not many guys out there get to play D2 college baseball, and I'd say that's one of the biggest things I like to tell the guys, like enjoy it, have fun, don't be afraid to fail, you know. And wins come and go, and sometimes you can't get them all. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on Warriors Walk Off. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.